Welcome back, everybody, to Goodwill Podcasting with Dan and Stone, your movie podcast that today is talking about The Long Walk. Yes, the most dangerous exercise event of the year is finally here, and today we're going to break down everything from its cast and crew, the rules of the game, and of course, our thoughts on the movie. But that's not all, as we're also going to introduce a new news segment on the pod today and a Long Walk-inspired movie game at the very end. So please stick around for that. Really excited about it. But as we have learned from this film, friendship is extremely important. And as you know, it is something we value here on Goodwill Podcasting. So joining us on this journey today is our man Kev, aka the ReelForReal podcast. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, my friend. And honestly, I was going to shoot Connor a text message. He's not on with us today. No idea. How many times have you been on now? 4 or 5?
Is this like the 4th time, I think?
Dan, what do you got?
It's been a minute though. I want to say the third time maybe.
3rd, okay. I know the last one I was on was the Spike Lee joints.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I will say, just to prove my friendship to you, I checked because I was going to talk about it. And Dan and Connor know I'm not the biggest sports guy in the world. It's all right. I didn't even know if the Chiefs beat the Eagles. I almost wore my hat, but there's a reason why I'm not wearing my hat this morning. Your Texans play tonight.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Versus the Bucks. What we got? What we think?
I was telling Dan, I think it's going to be a tough game, but, I think we'll pull through.
I think it's going to be an ugly game.
Yeah.
For who? I'm assuming
just in general. The Texans, the O-line is so banged up. I feel like it's so hard for CJ to do anything, but
yeah,
the Bucks aren't great. Baker just turns the ball over so much, so we'll see.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it can go either way, honestly.
How did my Chiefs look last night?
Bad. Your Chiefs.
Well, look at that hat right there.
Maybe keep that one tucked away for a while.
Yeah, keep that hidden for a little bit. It's gonna be a rough season, bro.
Dude, I told Dan. Well, I don't know if I told you guys, you and Connor this yet, Dan. But when it comes to my relationship with sports, I find it really fascinating because I just went to a dirt track race with my brother and my dad. I flew out to Ohio. It's something we always used to do when I was growing up, and something we've tried to continue to do. It's like 30,000 people there, big event. But my dad and my brother are so into like all the racers and the drivers, and they know exactly like, oh, this guy's in the lead. Like someone would be doing well. My brother's like, you don't have to worry about that guy. He sucks. And then like 2 laps later, he crashed into a wall. I'm like, holy shit. Like, you're right. So, but I was so invested while I was there, and I had so much fun. And it's like, I think that's my relationship with sports. I really enjoy watching sports and I love it, but I don't follow, to be honest, anything. Like I like Miami Heat, but don't ask me any questions.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah. No, I feel bad because Dan reached out. He's like, oh, fantasy league, draft. I was like, probably not. Be really foolish of me to do that.
Nah, I wish you would have joined. It helped me out a little bit, bump me up a little bit.
Who's doing well?
Fabian's doing well.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Fabian, I think we have a few people in the league who like it's their first time playing fantasy. I think it's Brock's first time. It's Fabian's first time. I'm looking right now. I should hopefully be 2-0. I think Brandon, his team's pretty good. I don't know if he won this week.
Yeah, Brandon's team is good.
Yeah, Connor's about to be 2-0.
Guys.
Connor's going to be 2-0 as well. He has a good team. So
yeah, that would not have been me.
Yeah, Connor knows ball, man. He knows ball.
So you said Brock. I have to ask you, Kev. I don't know if Dan told you the reason why we had to start 30 minutes early, but I'm going to Fantastic Fest this week. How close are you to Austin?
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. No, I'm in Houston. So, I mean, it's only 2 hours away from me, but yeah, I'll be doing it virtually.
Oh, really? Have you, because a friend of mine, Marcel, who was on the pod not too long ago, he's been doing it virtually. He's already watched some movies. So have you watched anything yet?
I haven't watched anything yet, though.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
I feel relieved because
like the schedule and the screeners and all that. So I'm going to go through all that.
I feel relieved because
process is too, like how easy it is or how hard you find it to be or overwhelming it is. It's a lot of different screeners and times. And
Well, we'll see, because something that's a bummer is because we have a lot of friends that went last year and have gone before, and they said, like, because what's happening today at 11 o'clock, I thought it was 10 o'clock, which is why I asked for this to get started 30 minutes earlier, but it was 10 o'clock Central Time, so 11 o'clock my time. Oh shit, I forgot. How early is it where you're at right now?
It's almost 8 now. Yeah.
It kept
Real
Central
one.
Time, so
Yeah.
Real one.
Central.
Okay, so 10 o'clock your time is when the tickets go on sale. But something that's a big bummer is, so for press, I got a press badge, is they give you 10 tickets straight up in advance for whatever movies you want. You don't have to compete with the actual crowds. Cool. And I've been told beforehand that the movies that you really want to get, like 5 of those right away, are the secret screenings. Right, that's the fun stuff. Everyone goes out for the secret screenings. It could be, I think Heretic was there last year, so it could be a really big movie. I know our buddy Chuck said, which is not a bad guess in my opinion, he said maybe One Battle After Another might be at secret screening, which I can kind of see that. Problem is, me and Brock, who, that's why I brought up Brock, is we are kind of going on this trip together. We both fly in Wednesday and then we fly out Monday. That's not the length of the festival. It's from Thursday to like Wednesday the next week. So we're actually missing 4 out of the 5 secret screenings, which is a bummer.
Oh,
so we're only getting to see 1 secret screening, and it'll be the night before we leave. So hopefully One Battle After Another. I've been hearing good things about that, but
what do you think the chances are with that, is since it's not in the genre, right, of what's typically being shown there?
also like 3 hours.
Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think everybody wants it to be that, right?
Yeah, there is, like, I think there's a movie called Surratt. So there is movies that don't necessarily have to be the genre. I don't think there's a movie called Surratt that premiered at, I think, Cannes Film Festival, which is like the only movie that's here that's going to be shown at Fantastical that played at Cannes. So that's pretty cool. And I don't think that's necessarily horror or like sci-fi or anything like that. It's a story about a family in the Middle East, I believe. So, which is one of the movies I'm trying to see. But yeah, Heretic makes sense for the festival. I can't really think of any horror movies that I'm really excited for that might show up there. But we'll see. Hopefully it's not terrible.
Man, I know. I was looking at the list and I was like, ooh, I don't know about these. We'll see. Just got to watch them.
Yeah, I remember texting Dan that. He's like, dude, because I mean, he went to the Philadelphia Film Festival last year, and the lineup he kept on telling me that was there. I'm like, damn, that's pretty good. But ones that we're gonna get was like Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks, the VHS movies, which I've never watched before. I'm gonna try to cram those. Stranger Chapter 2.
That trailer actually looks pretty good, though. Stranger Chapter 2. It looks decent.
Stop it. Stop it.
The trailer
that
look
first
all right.
movie. That first movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy.
Let's see here. Black Phone 2, which is like the big movie of the festival.
That'll be good, hopefully.
Yeah, Sisu, the sequel to Sisu is going to be there. That's where it's premiering, which is pretty cool. And then one that I'm really I continue to get excited for is Obsession, which is the follow-up, which is the directorial debut of the guy who I believe made the Milk and Cookies found footage short film last year. And I think the rights, the distribution rights of this movie just got bought for $10 million, which is kind of crazy. And then one that I found yesterday, because you get 10 tickets and me and Brock had only had 8 movies picked out because we're only going to be there for 4 days. Is a movie called Vicious, which I found out stars Dakota Fanning, but it's from the director. It's from the director and writer who made the original Strangers film. So I think that's really interesting how Strangers Chapter 2 is going to be there, and that he is also going to be there for entirely different project, which is Brian Bertino is his name. But
good for him. He'll get a lot of.
I don't think Dakota Fanning's a good actor at all.
Catherine Hunter's also in it, so that helps out a little bit. I like Catherine Hunter a lot.
Dakota Fanning was in that Watchers movie, right?
Yeah, was that the movie or was that her?
She was really bad in it, I think.
Yeah, that's.
Bro, do you see her? Remember Twilight though? Like she's good at an eye actor, just staring. Like if this movie's nothing but her staring.
That's true. Elle Fanning's a good actor. I'll say that. I like Elle.
I liked her. I think Equalizer 3, it was fun, just for nostalgia purposes, but
yeah.
But speaking of things coming out and news and stuff like that, All right. This is our first time. I thought this was clever. Dan didn't say anything to it. Connor didn't say anything to it. A segment called "How Do We Like These Apples?" Right? Right? I think that's pretty good. Where we talk about news
I like
stories that
that.
have happened.
We talked about this so long ago.
We haven't brought it up in a while.
Okay.
I forgot about that. But yeah, so stuff that came out this week. You know, actors, directors, trailers, whatever you want to discuss. Good clippable content that maybe we could put on TikTok is maybe the goal here. But Kev, what is something that happened this week that you maybe wanted to talk about here on Go Well Podcasting?
So, since y'all told me like right before we hopped on the call, I just got to go with what I'm, excited about. As y'all know, I'm a physical media collector. So Criterion was talking about their November releases, and Eyes Wide Shut is getting a 4K release. I really like that movie. I'm excited for that. That's one of those films that never really got upgraded except to like a bare bones Blu-ray with like no special features or anything. So it's really a big deal to be getting that on Criterion in 4K. And then Breakfast Club is getting 4K as well. John Hughes. I'm excited about that too. So, and then House Party, which never got anything, but your standard DVD is getting a 4K release. So I think this November for Criterion is looking good. And I think it's also showing that with House Party getting a Criterion 4K release, that they do a little bit more than just, your art house stuff that people have never heard of, or, oh, why don't they have movies that, I can enjoy, or, like they're doing everything. So
that's all Criterion?
Yeah, Criterion. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I am shocked by that. And also the Breakfast Club too. Like points that you're making, like art house films, this and that. That's cool that they're doing that.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. So
nice. My physical media collection, I need to upgrade it. I should get 50 movies. Dan, do I have more than you? How many do you have? Oh,
I have a lot. It's like half of a bookcase in 2 stacks, and then another bookcase here. But there's also like I don't normally get a lot of like expensive stuff. Normally, there's a few thrift stores around us that we like to go to, that have like cheap shit, and they have so many movies. So like every time I'm there, I'll grab like 10, 15 things I want to watch and just have them. But the stuff is cheap, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Half price books is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite piece of your collection?
Favorite piece? I've been going to. So I like Arrow Video a lot, a boutique that does like a lot of limited editions. So they have probably one of my favorites is Super Cop, Jackie Chan. I really like that release. And then also I got Talk to Me from Second Sight Films. If you ever go to Second Sight Films, it's a UK site, and they do like these great limited editions and make it look all cool and everything. I think Talk to Me is like one of my recent favorites.
I'll say, didn't Amazon have a whole thing? I don't know if you would know more about this, Kev, but like where I can't remember if you made a video about it or not, Dan, where they basically are getting sued for the whole fine line in the fine print of you actually don't own this movie if you buy it on our site thing. I think that there's like a lawsuit going around being like, you have to allow your customers to own this movie if they pay for it for $25, $30, something like that. I don't know if you guys knew anything about
you're
that.
talking about if you buy it digitally?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I remember OTS Movies talking about that too. It's unfortunate, that's why everybody's trying to say like, no, you need to have a copy. Physical media is important. Like digitally, it's just like they can kind of do what they want. If they're going to get rid of it,
maybe that's just fixing that.
Yeah,
which would be a bummer for physical media owners.
Wait, so what's the fallout from that? Say you buy something on Amazon for $15 and then it's in your collection. What can then happen technically?
So what he was saying is like, if they decide to get rid of the movie and you don't have it, then you just lose your money and there's nothing you can do about it. I was like, well, damn.
I feel like you should at least be refunded.
From what I'm hearing, they don't have to refund you anything. Like that's the risk of buying digitally, and I'm like, that sucks. Like,
yeah.
So this article came out on my birthday, which is August 25th. It was from the Hollywood Reporter. It said, "You don't actually own the movie you just bought. A new class action lawsuit targets Amazon. A suit challenges Prime Video, telling people they can buy a movie when they're purchasing a license to watch it for a period of time." A little known fact about the movie and TV show purchases online is what's being bought isn't actually ownership of the title, but rather a limited time license for viewing access.
See,
Yeah,
it's
I also don't think like I don't know how many people are actually like I don't do that really ever. Um, I don't know. I don't really see the point of doing that. I feel like if I want something, I'll just buy a copy of it. But I'm sure a lot of people do. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty common. I think I feel like it's split kind of half and half with people either buying physical copies or buying it digitally because a lot of people don't want to have like a collection or don't have the space to
Don't
be
have
able to
space. Yeah,
put stuff up. So
that's kind of my thing here. Like we live in a small house, and like we already have so much
oh
shit.
yeah,
I'm like, there's nowhere else to put anything. But
I'm sure you got a bunch of books too already. So
yeah,
you could be competing versus each.
Yeah, it said it gave an example here. It said that like right now it's $5 to buy the director's cut of Alien, which is super cheap. But if the tech giant loses the rights to that version, the movie can be replaced with a different cut. So you
Hmm.
don't it might tweak it a little bit without you noticing.
yeah,
Wow.
But Dan, did you grab a topic that you maybe want to talk about from this week?
yeah. I wanted to talk about. We were just talking about one battle after another. I seeing that. I think tomorrow night, tomorrow Wednesday. Um, but I don't see a path really to this succeeding. And I feel like what's going to happen is kind of regardless of quality, it's just not going to be successful. And I think a lot of people will define it by that. But I also do think there's a certain amount of like legitimacy to the criticism of just saying here's $150 million to PTA. Like PTA doesn't make movies that I think his highest grossing movie is There Will Be Blood, which maybe made 80 million. That's 75, $80 million, I think. Um, I think and I made a video about this at the start of the summer. I said this is kind of going to be the a summer to analyze like the star, right? Like we're going to see, can Tom Cruise still, be a draw at the box office? Can Brad Pitt still be a draw at the box office? Can Leonardo DiCaprio still be a draw at the box office? I think Brad Pitt was successful. I don't know how much of that was him, how much of that was this international brand with this sport that's very popular. I think he was. I said I thought Brad Pitt was awful in that movie. I think it's one of his worst performances ever. But the movie was a success. Mission Impossible, not so much. And again, the movie was not great. I feel this will probably be the strongest of the three movies, I would assume, but it's going to be the least successful, I think. And they're projecting a $20 million opening weekend. Um, and I just fear, or I feel maybe Leonardo DiCaprio's star power is just overestimated. I don't think it's there for, especially when the movie, like I said, it's almost 3 hours long, or is 3 hours long. Like, um, and that's not necessarily indicative of success or not, but like people are, I think, generally not interested in sitting for that long. It's 2 hours 40 minutes. So I don't know. I just think this is going to be a big financial failure, and that ends up reflecting on PTA, right? Like I think the filmmaker often gets the brunt of the criticism or whatever, or the feeling in the industry is that it's on him. So I think that's a shame because he is one of the better directors working today, but I don't think he should be making $150 million movies per se. So,
So what's a lot of the budget going to? Is it going to, you think, Leo?
well, I think when Leo signs on, he's now getting 40, 50 million, I think, like
Yeah.
straight up. Which again, I don't think he's worth. Like I think that's just my personal outlook. I also think like, there's oftentimes with movies like this, I think unknowns can do wonders for movies. I think sometimes it's nice to watch something and not feel like I'm looking at Leonardo DiCaprio. Just feel like you're looking at the character because you don't know, the actor behind it, and you can save a lot of money by giving someone else a new opportunity. Um, but I think, there's always this desire to have the star power attached, for marketability, obviously. And I have seen them trying to market this. Like I've seen a lot of commercials for it. I've seen, stuff for watching football, seen a lot of stuff online. Like they are trying to push it. Um, but I don't know. I just don't think he's worth that much money, personally.
So you know how much I talk about box office and everything, Dan. As you said, this movie has $150 million budget. What opening weekend number would you look at and say that's a success? Obviously, I don't think it's going to be profitable 100%, but like what would surprise you and be like, wow, people actually did come out for this film?
I don't know, like $50 million. Like that's I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't see it getting 50 in the opening weekend.
Yeah,
This is one of those movies I feel like it's going to have a decent stretch of legs, and it's going to be a
yeah.
lot of word of mouth. That I think, I mean, Leo is already going to draw people in, and then you have the film buffs who are already going to go because of PTA, and then you also have Tiana Taylor, which is going to bring out a certain amount of people. So I don't. It's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say with this one.
So I've
Yeah,
been
it's
looking at
also
I'm sorry. I was looking at Leo's. I was trying to see like when was the last time Leo was challenged at the box office? Like what was because I know Killers of the Flower Moon unfortunately was not profitable. And then his movie before that was Don't Look Up, which was a Netflix film, right? So before that, what was the movie he did before that? And I honestly can't believe my eye. Oh, it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But the
Mhm.
movie before that, I don't know if you guys saw my mouth drop open. I maybe 20 maybe I'm forgetting how much of an impact the box office was in like the 2010s. So this is wild. So The Revenant in my eyes, I haven't watched in my mind, I haven't watched that movie in a very long time. Very long time. I don't see it as like a big budget movie. Like it's got to be smaller than One Battle After Another. The budget for that movie was $135 million. And it made worldwide $533 million.
That was a huge deal, man. That was a huge deal.
And I looked
Mhm.
at The Wolf of Wall Street, which was the film before that. It also did well. So he did have some draw, but it has been some time. I can't believe that a movie like The Revenant made $500 million. I mean, we were living in a different day back then.
Yeah,
So
that was
we'll see.
yeah,
But geez,
different
even
day
one,
and age, and then also I think there was a conversation around what he put his body through and what he went through. And I mean, we're talking about one of our favorite actors of of our generation. Yeah, we had to see it. We had to.
There was also a huge push for that movie, Oscar wise, and I think the whole idea of it
Yep.
was he's finally going to get an Oscar, and
Yeah.
people kind of talked it up. You also had like you had Tom Hardy attached to that was like decent
Mhm.
star power. I also saw here Greenlight Analytics did a study on movie stars today and analyzing how people feel about them. They just did it this year. Um, and Leonardo DiCaprio kind of throughout the study had seemingly less star power than Denzel, The Rock, Johnny Depp, still um, about the same as Will Smith, less than Michael B. Jordan, um, about the same as Timothy Chalamet. So Johnny Depp is someone, the way he's maintained his star power just through everything is actually insane. I think they were talking about bringing him back for the Pirates or something. Is that not real?
I think it's real. Terrible idea, in my
Can we
opinion.
stop that? Can we stop
Awful.
those?
I think if they did that, it would be really successful, which is,
It would. They make money, a lot of money.
yeah, which is all they care about.
I
I think
think
that Fran
Johnny also has to thank Tim Burton too for helping keep him relevant. Thank you, boy, Tim Burton. Yep.
I would say
Yeah.
I've always thought about that franchise. I think it is it could always be successful when it comes to Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, I will say, personally, for me, I think they need to be filmed like the way the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is filmed, like practically. There's a lot of practicality in that. And it would be very jarring if they did more Pirates films and it's a lot of green screen.
Yeah,
And it's just frustrating too because you know it can be done. Like you've seen it done in the past before, but that's not the easiest way to do it. But
yeah,
I've always thought about the fact that like there was rumors going around for a long time that Margot Robbie was gonna like start up and be like the lead of a Pirates of the Caribbean like franchise. And I thought that's a smart idea. I think she would really fit into that. She's a very bombastic performer when she wants to be.
yeah.
But yeah, I think they're desperately looking to restart that in some way. But with Johnny, it's just when it comes to like even Mahershala Ali and like these people taking on more youthful roles, I just can't help but like stare at their age. Now, Mahershala Ali does not look his age. I think he's like 51, 52, which is wild.
Yeah.
But Johnny Depp's getting up there too. And I just can't like the way he was moving and like performing in the mid 2000s. I don't think he could do that anymore. So I just don't want to see that.
It's very physical. It's a lot of like slapstick almost.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean, Mahershala Ali, I think takes a lot better care of himself. I think is probably aging a lot more gracefully than Johnny Depp, who's kind of put himself through it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's a not a great idea, but it's something I could see them doing because again, profit. So
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess we'll get into what I wanted to talk about here for our last element of do we like these apples? How do we like these apples? Which I think it's going pretty good, Dan. But it goes pretty good off the back of what you're saying. I texted you this yesterday, and I don't know if you saw this yet, Kev. But did you see what the box office was this weekend?
No, no, I didn't see.
Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle made $70 million at the U.S. box office. That's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's the highest grossing ever opening weekend for an anime, and it crushed the previous one, which was a love letter to my heart. But Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, all the way back in 1999, that opened with $31 million. So, I mean, this is already with this movie and also The Conjuring opening at 86 million. I think Conjuring 4. This is the highest box office that we've ever had in September. So
Crazy.
it makes me really excited. I don't know. Maybe it's just the right combination of movies. Like I understand Demon Slayer. I really do. I don't understand Conjuring 4. I don't know why that did so well. With both of these cases, which actually gives me more hope for One Battle After Another, both of these cases, they were projected far lower, like 20 to $30 million less than what they ended up being. I was watching somebody go over the box office, and I think they're really underestimating the fact that I think him, like this coming weekend, is going to be big. I think it's
Yeah.
only also projected to be $20 million. I think that could open to 40 million. And I also think One Battle After Another could open to 40 million as well. And I don't know. I think that we're seeing an interesting turn here in terms of what people actually want to come out and see. Will Hollywood look into anime more? And I don't even know what that would even look like.
Well, I think the anime base is very strong, and Demon Slayer as a series and the movie that came out before that is very strong. So when you mentioned that number, it didn't surprise me. I thought Demon Slayer is great. I mean, from the animation to the story, it's great. Like really, really good. I think the Demon Slayer. I mean, I can't say it's going to be mentioned with Spirited Away and all this other stuff as far as critically acclaimed or anything, but people are going to show up. That it's a huge fan base. Now, Conjuring. Why are y'all surprised about that?
Because it was
I'm
nothing
not so
new. I
much
think
surprised. I think people just like people see that as like the horror franchise. They're like, this will be scary. I'm gonna go see it. That's it's just that's what it is. It's something that like, and we were kind of talking about it too, Stone. But I think there's an aspect of like it's kind of a big. I think it's a big like Catholic horror thing too. And like we talked
Yeah,
about this, they're kind of like these like soldiers of God and Christianity fighting against evil and demon. Like, and people. eat that shit up. Look around in America today. I think,
Yeah.
which is funny because I mean, you know about them. But I also think the thing with The Conjuring is, and you're talking about that versus One Battle After Another, they made a Conjuring for like $50 million. So I think like success is a lot more attainable. Um, and I mean, that's still expensive for like a horror movie, but it's so easy for that to be profitable because it's already, it has this string of movies before it, and people, I guess, like them and consider them to be scary, and they're just kind of printing money when they make those.
Yeah. Especially if you're
And
looking
it's
at the conclusion of the Warrens. This
allegedly.
yeah, right. This family that people have been attracted to with this series since the beginning. So it's
It's
just
interesting too because if you look at both of these scenarios, I guess it is a bit of finality to it. As you're saying, like this is the end of the Warrens, so everyone's got to come out and see it. Even though I don't really think it was any different
yeah.
than any other Conjuring movie. But then I believe this is also supposed to be like the finale of Demon Slayer too. But what I find super interesting about this, what Dan brought up, the budget and how success of the Conjuring 4 Last Rites is super attainable because they kept the budget more reserved, even if it is 50 million, which is a lot for a horror movie, to be honest, but it's a big budget horror movie. I don't know. I know this was a huge point of conversation when it came to Godzilla minus one last year and how much that movie cost and how much maybe the crew behind it was put under a lot of pressure and wasn't maybe paid what they were supposed to be. The budget for this animated film is only $20 million. And it's made like 400 worldwide. And it's really crazy when you look at US and like North American animation. And Elio was $250 million. Now there was some issues for the production behind the scenes that caused that budget to rise up.
Some issues.
Yes, but $20 million. So hopefully that's not a case of, workers not getting paid what they're due. Hopefully it's just a lot of people who are really passionate about a certain project and they found ways to get it done.
Yeah. I feel like they know what they're doing. They know how to streamline that and not make it too much. Something we gotta get better at.
I'm bummed because I can't watch it. Like I was watching someone review it today just to see if I could maybe watch it. And he straight up said, what I like about the movie is that it doesn't spoon feed you. It doesn't like go back and like this last time on Demon Slayer, like it, because I think what came out before this is directly the TV show, and it just went right from what happened last in the TV show to this movie. And I'm like, well, that's a bummer because I haven't watched anything. And he said this is basically because you haven't checked it out, Kev.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
He said it's basically just 2.5 hours of just nonstop action, which that would be cool if I probably knew what was going on.
Yeah, they sent there was a screening for it, and I was like, this is probably gonna be cool, but like I'm not gonna go sit there and be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I don't know. But I think that's kind of similar to what they're doing with Peaky Blinders. Like the movie's just gonna pick up after season 6 and just go and wrap up the story, which I think would be really successful if Netflix puts it in a fucking theater. But I guess we'll see.
If you look at this movie, what is different than all the other animated films that have come out this year? All the animated films. It is adult animation. So I think that is something that you might find that studios tap into a little bit more. Now, we had a little bit of that last year with Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, but I don't necessarily think that movie was that great in my opinion. And obviously there's a lot more background behind Demon Slayer, a lot more lore. There's a lot bigger fandom when it comes to the animation rather than there is with Lord of the Rings, I would say. And what a lot of people are thinking about with the success of this movie, which is so interesting to see how this film does. Like, how big is this fandom? Because we have a buddy of ours, Brandon Talks Movies, who has skyrocketed as the dude talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender on TikTok right now. We have an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie coming out next October, and it's the same deal. It is a television show. It is a continuation of a television show that is now going to be a theatrical film in theaters. How is that going to do? And it's going to be so fascinating to see that. And like you said, Dan, to see if people really do. Like, I'm surprised they didn't try to do a movie with Stranger Things. Obviously, it's Netflix, so it could have been a little bit. And there's some annoyances there, but I think that we're going to see a lot of people like we just saw Downton Abbey, like the grand finale. Like Downton Abbey made $20 million this weekend, and I've never met a Downtown Abbey fan in my life. Now I think their age demographics may be a little bit different than the people I hang out with, but I don't know. It's some really interesting stuff going on. Are you a Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, Kev?
Not die hard, but I've watched the series when I was younger, and it's fun. So it's been interesting watching Brandon talk about it and get his first reactions. It's cool, man. Like the anime community, when they find somebody who is like watching it for the first time, they get to experience it themselves again. Like they'd be like, "Man, you're in for gold. I can't wait till you get to this episode or episode, 200 or whatever." And I mean, they're easy binges for the most part. I think the toughest binge would be One Piece because it's just too damn long, but whatever.
I say one that I've wanted to check out for the longest time. To be honest, I've only watched one anime in my life, one anime film, which I feel very sickened by because I love animation, which is Akira. I've watched Akira.
Okay. Yeah, great movie.
But Attack on Titan is like the one show that I want to check out. I know it's finished. I know it's not that long. It's only 5 seasons, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I just started getting into anime like 2 years ago, bro. Like as far as these big heavy hitter shows that have been coming out, and Attack on Titan instantly grabbed me. Really good story.
Say, Dan, are you still watching along with Brandon? Because I remember Dan hasn't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I remember he was like, "I'm gonna watch the movie with," I thought you were like watching what Brandon was watching. Be like, "This is how I'm gonna consume the show."
He said, "Don't put me in that." No,
sorry.
No, I've been enjoying observing what he's doing, but no, I'm not watching it.
Brother
had like 4,000 people in his live the other night.
What I would say is watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think both of you guys would like that. It's real cerebral and hits on some military stuff and tech. And I think one of the movies, I think the end is on Letterboxd Top 250. It's somewhere up there. So people like really love that film, like kind of like Spirited Away. Yeah.
Jeez, we'll never get to everything. We'll never watch everything. But speaking of the military, Dan, do you want to get into the cast and crew of The Long Walk? Finally, we'll get into our conversation of what our episode's going to be about today. I know you had to start reading the book a little bit too, so I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I literally just kind of dipped in a toe, but I have like some familiarity, so I can speak to that a little bit. But basically, in 1979, Stephen King was writing this. This was the first, I believe, it was the first book he actually wrote as Richard Bachman, but it wasn't the first thing that he actually published. I think the first thing he published was Terry. But basically he writes this story about 100 young men who are in this lottery. They're in this kind of failed America in the future, and they have to go on this long walk together and gets in everything that happens. So the movie is from Francis Lawrence, who seems to really enjoy dystopian stuff. He didn't do the first Hunger Games, correct? He did everything else. Yeah. Which I think is interesting. I think there's an interesting conversation to be had with how he handles this stuff. But anyway, the screenplay was J.T. Molnar, who did Strange Darling last year, right? Which is a movie I really despised. And I think some of his inability to write is kind of seeps into this movie as well. But I did like this movie a lot more than Strange Darling. The leads, we have Cooper Hoffman, obviously Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. I think with his career so far, it's safe to say that he's not just Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. I think he's a good actor. I don't think this performance here is perfect per se. I think it's kind of up and down. But again, I think a lot more of that is sometimes the writing and not so much him. But really some really strong moments, and he's acting alongside David Johnson. What I just talked about on TikTok, I think he's just really talented. I think Alien Romulus was such a slop fest, but he made it like watchable for me and enjoyable. Like when he was on screen, I was like locked in.
Yeah.
we talked about Riley, obviously, I think it's great, but he's only, I want to say 4 or 5 movies into his career. He was from the, a theater actor in the UK, was in TV, um, and then Riley was his debut in film in 2023. So I'm really excited to see his career progress. I think he's 31, so he's young. Um, I hope he gets something soon where he kind of like something big, really mainstream, where he can kind of explode and really take off because he's really good. Um, and then the other leads here, I would say, are Ben Wang, who was just in
Karate Kid Legends.
yes, Karate Kid Legends, which it was what it was. It was like a streaming movie, but I really liked his performance, and I when I watched that, I was like, this kid can act. I like him. And he's here as well. Garrett Waring also, and then um, Toot Toot I think is how you say his name.
Hmm.
He's also a British actor. Um, I thought he was really, really good, and he has another movie this year with Cillian Murphy, which is supposed to be very good, called Steve. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to see that. Um, but yeah, those 4 guys are kind of the core 4, the 4 musketeers in the film. Um, and we're
Shout out
spending
to
most of our
Jojo
time with
Rabbit
them.
too, man.
He was in Jojo Rabbit.
I said shout out to Jojo Rabbit too, my
Yeah, that
boy.
one guy, that one kid.
Roman Davis, I believe is his name. Yeah.
I was a little bit of shell shock there at the beginning when I was like, oh, that kid's old now.
Yeah.
He does look the same though. But this is I was going to talk about the reception that it's gotten so far. So it's got a cinema score of a B, which is okay for I feel like a movie this heavy. The Rotten Tomatoes so far has been 90% with critics, 85% with audiences. Letterboxd at a 3.7, IMDb at a 7.5. Its budget was $20 million, and its box office this past weekend was 11.5. So not too bad, I would say, with that kind of budget. What did you guys think about the marketing for this movie? Because I think this is one of the best marketed movies I've seen in a really long time, and I think it lends itself to the premise alone.
You want to go ahead, Kev, and I'll.
No, so was there anything special that they did outside of the trailers as far as the marketing? Like, what were you seeing?
Well, the big one that everyone liked to talk about. Well, even like our friend who's been on the podcast here, movie man Kev. I think I can't remember how long he walked. I think he walked for the duration of the film, and that video actually did pretty well. But it's because he walked at 3 miles per hour for the duration of the entire film, but that's because he saw that Lionsgate came out with this promotional screening that they had where they had invited a bunch of influencers to do that, to walk for 3 miles per hour for the duration of the movie. And if you couldn't do it, you basically got kicked out of the theater, which I think was only like 1 or 2 people. And that would make me really pissed.
That's so embarrassing.
But I thought that was a genius idea. And
Yeah,
I think they should have honestly went into that like a little bit more. Maybe they could have had like their marketing team. Maybe it's too much to ask for. I shot this idea to someone in my comments, but to have like the marketing team go out and walk in anticipation of the movie, like walk up until the movie, something like that. Like do a live stream. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
They could have had someone do like a Forrest Gump, like walking across the country and like talking about it. Like that would have been interesting. But
they started like January 1st and they're still walking up till now.
Yeah.
There would have been a lot of hype.
Did you guys see this is such a tangent. There's a guy that just finished walking around the world. Did you guys see the story? It took him like he was arrested like multiple times in multiple countries. He got arrested in Russia. They held him there for a while and they let him go to keep doing it. It took him, I want to say like it's a lot of years, like years and years, but he walked around the entire world. It's a crazy story.
Dang.
Yeah. I saw an update on it, but I didn't see that he had finished. So he's done now?
I think so, yeah.
What do you do? What do you do now?
You lie down. You get a foot massage.
So it seems like both of y'all are kind of in the middle, just based on your letterbox. You're kind of in the middle.
I'll say I checked yours out. I was trying to find it. I don't know if you put something up on Letterboxd, but I did check your accounts and you hadn't posted your review yet. Before you get into your review, I wanted to go over the rules. I got them real quick. That way everyone knows.
All
And
right.
we had talked about him once in his fantasy football game, but this is from a man Fabian who had a video pop off where he just basically explained the rules. But 3 miles per hour, which like you were talking about earlier, Kev, is one thing that's different from the book. There's the one thing that Stephen King said you could change is that it was 4 miles per hour in the book. He's like, that's too fast. Probably couldn't do that. Two is that you get warnings. You get 3 warnings during the duration of the walk. And then if you get one warning, 3 warnings within an hour, I believe. But if after an hour, one of the warnings drop off. Obviously, you get eliminated after 3 warnings. The winner is the last person alive. The prize is all the money in the world, and then a wish. So the warning timer and the warning thresholds are very interesting. So basically, if you walk under 3 miles per hour, you have 90 seconds to pick up your speed again. And if you don't, that's 1 warning. So if you have 1 warning again and you drop below again, you only have 60 seconds to pick up the speed again, or you get a second warning. And then the last time, your 3rd warning, which is where you get eliminated, is you only have 30 seconds to pick up the speed again, which I thought that was a little bit confusing in the movie, the rules. I mean, there's a lot of rules that they try to get thrown at you. Obviously, your ticket gets punched at one point, and then the ticket violations. So there's a couple things that you can't do. It's you can't leave the road, which we see that throughout the course of the movie. You cannot mess with a soldier or another walker, and then you can't get any outside help from anybody, which doesn't seem like anybody really wanted to give them any outside help throughout this whole thing. You can help other walkers, which we do see a lot of. You can't stop, obviously, and there's no finish line. But that was a lot. Kev, was the movie a lot for you? What'd you think?
Whew, man, this movie was heavy. It's like you know what the premise is, but like when you actually get into it in that first 20 minutes, you're like, oh, okay. But I found it to be bold. And I think when you look at some of the horror films over the past couple of years, I prefer something like this that's a downer and kind of pulls no punches. And it's a movie that I feel like wouldn't work if the performances weren't up to par. I feel like if the performances were not up to par, this movie would have kind of suffered because you're following, everybody the entire time, their experience, their raw thoughts and emotions, the camaraderie. So it's a film that relies heavily on performances of the kids, especially our 2 leads. So, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it really is like it's basically theater in a way. Like it's kind of like a stage play.
Yeah.
And I think having theater actors is really helpful. And like you said, when you do something like that, if any of these actors is not performing well, it's a drag um to watch. And we kind of just talked about that last week with um It Ends. Kind of the same thing, where like you need it's just watching people on a stage essentially. It's just conversation, that's it. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I think all the actors did a really nice job.
Yeah, to me, I thought this was a serviceable, entertaining one-time watch. I think it is so dark that you don't really want to go back to it anytime soon. I think that the premise alone detracts from any twists or any unexpected things to happen. It's a little bit different than the Hunger Games, especially my favorite Hunger Games book and also movie is Catching Fire. That one very much subverts your expectations, and it's unfortunately, I mean, the arena in those movies and that premise is just way more entertaining than a road. But I do like that. I think that, like you guys have been saying, the acting is very good, but I think that Francis Lawrence is very good at directing relationships on screen because
Hmm.
you really do buy the friendship between these individuals. You do really buy their camaraderie, as you said, Kev. You do buy the laughs and the jokes and the pain that they're all going through. And that is something that we see time and time again in the Hunger Games. It's just about a bunch of youthful individuals who are trying to survive, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, I thought that one thing that this movie was seriously lacking is a score. I don't know if that was to add to the dread of it, to the horror of the walk, but I noticed that there really isn't one throughout the entire movie. And I thought that really could have elevated some scenes on the road, especially with if you could make it like a little bit more cinematic. And that's also one thing I'll say too is I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not a boring concept, but it's a pretty straightforward concept that you can't really have that much fun with the filmmaking. Like you said, Dan, this is essentially a stage play. It's just filming people. You're going backwards, they're coming towards you, and you're just filming them talking. So there's not a whole lot you can do that'll make filmmaking wise that'll make the film more interesting. But I'll say one big gripe that I had, and I texted Dan about this, is again, I hate to compare this to the Hunger Games, but when at the beginning of this movie, when they're like 50 people, one from each state, are elected for this competition, and everyone's watching it, live streaming it, I'm like, okay, fuck, that makes sense. I get why the guy from the Hunger Games is directing this now. I mean, it's literally the same thing. I was very disappointed that we didn't get to see any of America, and America wasn't characterized more than it was, because I don't necessarily want to get into spoilers just yet, but you are told that they are being filmed while this competition is going on. And kind of similar to the Hunger Games, maybe you would expect the decisions that they make on the road to have an impact on society, to go against the norms that maybe people usually see in this competition. But you never see that. There is one particular moment in the end where you do get a little bit of America. There is a crowd at the end. And maybe it is supposed to be, Dan had a really good counterpoint where he said this is supposed to be similar to the Vietnam War and how people went with those atrocities and they didn't ask any questions. And that's a very dark turn, because you could do two things with the characterization of America in this story, right? You can make it super dark, and we don't even care if these characters are hopeful or good people. America's still going to be the worst place in the world in this setting. Or you could do it how this lazy America has changed for the better because of what they're seeing these characters go through. But the problem is you don't get any of that. America is a background character that is not addressed at all in this movie to me. And that was really disappointing, because I thought that was some missed potential, because there's a lot of the same in this movie. And I thought that was like some added texture that was missing, in my opinion.
Well, to piggyback off what you were saying with that, so it's like briefly said, and I feel like they could have dived more into that, because that's kind of why I have it at a 4 and I didn't go any higher. So like they're talking about the purpose of the walk each year is to boosting the nation's morale. And 19 years ago, there was a war, and afterwards people got lazy. And this walk is to encourage the people. And every year after the walk, it increases productivity. So like it's like being said, but you're not really like, feeling that.
I think personally, I think that was the point. I feel like that to me was all propaganda. I feel like the idea there is that this is just a way to inflict cruelty upon people and basically say, I mean, I also think this is the story is kind of a critique of capitalism as well. And it's basically
Yeah.
saying the people at the top with all the power can say, look at you lazy people, right? It's your fault. Like, we are inflicting, this amount of brutality and violence on young people, right? But it's you that aren't working. It's your fault the country is the way it is. It's not us that held the power. So it's the worker that needs to be inspired, right, by this violence. And like, to me, it's just kind of like it's all propaganda. Like, I didn't take him seriously at all when he said that. You don't even know if any of that is true in regards to productivity and all that.
Mhm.
Like, I think it's just this is a system they've created to create spectacle and distract and just be terrible. And I feel like you're assuming that whatever led to that war, it was failure of leadership that even got the country in that position in the first place. But it's the people that end up suffering. So I think, and like the story is so simple. Like I said, he was like 19 when he started writing this. This is just an angry kid looking at the draft in Vietnam and saying, "Fuck this." That's all the story is. It's very simple. There's not supposed to be anything hopeful or subversion or any of that, because there was none. This is just a portrayal of what was happening to his friends and people around him. Um, and it kind of is what it is. So I think I agree with you, Stone, in that it makes it like, it's probably something you watch once, most likely, Um, although I could, I wouldn't mind watching it again down the road maybe one more time just to see
It's
kind
heavy.
of some of the dynamics and stuff. Um, but I do think it's just the stuff you guys are talking about, I think is very much the point of the story.
But so one thing I was thinking, I'm glad you brought the Vietnam stuff, and you too, Dan. But the movie does a good job of channeling, I think, what Stephen King wanted as far as the atmosphere of the fear and the violence and the brutality. Because I'm not gonna lie, that first shot at my boy Jojo Rabbit, I'm like, dang, okay, all right. I think Dan, I think some of it you chunked it up to like, yeah, it's a bit much. Like you got some shock value stuff going on here. But I think that Stephen King wanted that done like that and kind of showing how young men are dying for unclear reasons. Same way how we all talk about how pointless Vietnam War was. The being drafted into a contest, same way our young men are drafted into this war, or the Vietnam War, and how it just overall strips away the youth and you're getting pushed into death under the same guise of you're doing this in the name of duty. And then the spectator part, I like that, even though it's like, yeah, it's giving you Hunger Games vibes, obviously. But to tie that into Vietnam, it's like spectators publicly watching them on TV. To watch them walk in public is turning death into a spectacle. Kind of, I like the spectacle stuff. Jordan Peele did it with Nope. But here you're mirroring with the politicians and the military how they normalize TV footage of the war of Vietnam. So you end up reducing these soldiers. And for this story, these young boys are just another statistic, not a human. Same way as our veterans, right? Vietnam. So
And it was really the first war to kind of be broadcast in a way, like, for that was kind of being put into American living rooms. And I think, the role of media with the Vietnam War was really interesting. You had stuff um that kind of like propagandized it, but you also had people coming back and being really critical. I mean, that's like what Oliver Stone did, right? Like you had people saying,
yeah,
"What is this? What is the purpose?" and questioning what it did to the young men in America when they went there. Um, and I think it's really powerful in that way. And again, is it simple writing for sure? But I think it's really simple, angry, effective writing. But I also think what to one more point quickly. I think what they tried to do was make this. I wouldn't be surprised if it was because of financial reasons, like taking it from 100 people in the book to 50, right? And also the idea of, I think in the book, every single area they go through, there are crowds, there are people there watching them. And here they said, all right, we're not going to have crowds until you get to the end. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like, that's a lot of extras, it's a lot more to direct and manage. So I think they wanted to kind of whittle it down, but that was present in the book. Um, and it did kind of add a layer, I guess, to the story that you don't get here. Um,
I like the 50 though. Feels more intimate that way.
yeah, I agree, and I feel like I've heard people say, you really just kind of get to focus on the four. I feel like everyone that they gave screen time, I felt like I kind of knew them. I felt like I kind of understood, maybe 9, 10 different guys here in a way.
Yeah,
And I think that's hard to do. So I give them props there, and I think Mark Hamill too. He didn't have a ton to do, but he did a nice job. You wouldn't necessarily know it was him. Uh,
yeah.
Brother never takes off his glasses. Not one time, I don't think.
Nah, he doesn't.
yeah.
I say
You know,
I
I
marked
was a little
spoilers at
worried about this
55.
the release of this movie, with everything that was going on between Colorado and Utah. But it's interesting because like when I walked out of it, I was like, when I look at the bond of the boys, I was like, it felt like wholesome masculinity in the wake of a shitstorm of toxic media, that we've just gotten over the past week. And it obviously feels very timely. So yeah, I'm curious to see how people receive this movie, and it seems like people are enjoying it for what it is and watching it
And
through the eyes of Stephen King and Vietnam era. So
it's
that's a
I feel
good
like
thing.
the wholesomeness of it and the stuff like I feel like the entire point of the story in the movie is like even in moments that are horrifying, like choosing kind of compassion and love and empathy and understanding, even if you're in a situation where you're all going to die, like still understanding that the person next to you, you know, two or three of these guys are fairly antagonistic. Like one of them, I'd say, being straight up evil, while also dealing with like mental illness and stuff. And there's still empathy and compassion shown to him. Like, because at the end of the day, you're all fucking walking together, right? Like the people with the guns and the people that are telling you what to do, right? Like those are the people that are your enemy. It's not the person next to you, even though you might be from a different background. Someone might be from a rural area, from the city, black, white, gay, straight, whatever the fuck. It doesn't. You're all walking together, right? Like it's a movie about empathy and understanding. And I like that a lot. And I think I like that you said like wholesome masculinity, because the opposite of that is really like everything Mark Hamill is saying is like kind of toxic masculinity. It's saying you guys have huge fucking balls and
Mhm.
you're men and you're like it's all this like bullshit, right? That's just trying to push them to like, one up each other and hate each other and just keep going and think about themselves and think about the money and the pride. Like that's all that is. And then you have them all kind of saying no in a way. Um, Even though they're all still, doomed. So
You know why I also think this movie is so important, man, because I feel like friendship isn't celebrated enough in pop culture, even though we got a movie this year called Friendship, but it's not celebrated enough in pop culture in the way that
that wasn't a
romance
great
is.
friendship though.
That's a
Yeah.
misleading title there. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's not celebrated enough in the way that romance is, I feel like. So I'm happy to see it whenever it's well done. So Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, between their performances and chemistry and a lot of the boys, I feel like a lot of young men will be able to relate to these characters. Men, women too, but it's important young men see this and can be like, yeah, like empathy and you know
Yeah, I thought there
all
was
that
like
other stuff.
really. I marked spoilers for 55 minutes in because you were like when Jojo Rabbit biffed it.
Oh,
So I'm
oh
like,
yeah,
all
I'll
right.
say
I was
my
like,
bad.
you're good. So we'll talk about spoilers now. I mean, you guys already dived into
But
it a little
you're
bit,
gonna cut
but
that out, huh?
no, no, no. But yeah, it's like when I think they call McFreeze, um, David Johnson's character, when he wants Ray to like speak about his mom and talk about that stuff. It's very interesting. The most interesting part of this movie was finding out about his character. I don't know if that's because David's the best actor in this entire movie, and I just like to hear him talk and to say these lines, but you learn about his upbringing and like why he's here
Hmm.
and the person he was, the person he's trying to become, and the reason why he's walking. That's the interesting part, right? Is finding out what these people are going to do, what these individuals are going to do at the very end. And I think that even though this is a straightforward plot, a straightforward idea with there's going to be one person standing at the very end of it, that's what keeps you engaged, like learning more and more about these characters, which I think lends itself to a good film. Because without characters, your movie is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what you see in the movie is sort of two things: how people face the challenge and the adversity, what their coping mechanisms are, and you see a variety of coping mechanisms analyzed throughout the movie, like whether it be humor or like anger or panic, sadness, whatever. Just you see how people cope, and you also see how people choose to die. And I think seeing how people die and their attitude says a lot about each of the characters in the movie. Um, and again, that's a pretty, it's a bleak thing, but I think it's really interesting, and it's not something that is analyzed much. Um, I think in movies, but and I also wanted to say, Kev, I think you were kind of talking about this movie coming out at this moment in history. I think there's definitely something to say there about how normalized violence is, and the entire country watched Charlie Kirk get his throat blown out, right? um and that does something to a society, right? Like that does something to a culture. I think when you see that stuff, it creates this sort of like shared trauma, but I think people can also be desensitized to that. um on the same day, we had a school shooting. um You know, 3 kids that all got shot. And imagine that happening to a high schooler who was just trying to go to school. Imagine that happening to a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Like, imagine what you saw. Like, this is the state of the country. And I think, you know, the other part of the conversation is I think the movie was a little bit fell a little bit into sensationalizing some of the violence and like having moments of like the guy walking and his leg is like the bones are sticking out. It's like it has to go for like gore and stuff because it thinks it's a horror movie, right? So it's like, all right, here's the horror. When in reality, I think all the violence I think should have been like just quick, brutal, no stylization, just make it real, and that's all this needed to be. Um, and I think he kind of did the same thing with the Hunger Games. Like it's a movie that's very critical of spectacle of violence, and it has a lot of spectacle and drama around its violence. And like
Yeah.
I think it's a fair criticism of Lawrence as a director, maybe not understanding the point of the stuff he's adapting. Um, I think that's an interesting conversation.
That is for sure. No,
Yeah.
I mean, Hunger Games has a lot of glitz and glamour between the show and or you know the way it's televised and the people and stuff like that. I mean, this feels just raw.
Yeah.
Um,
When
and I don't know how y'all felt about like I saw somebody criticizing the cinematography in regards to they don't feel like they did enough with the camera work in this movie. And how do y'all feel about like because it's a movie where everybody's walking and that's what the movie is? Do you feel like they could have been doing more with it? Because I'm kind of like, well, we don't need
I
to
feel
be
like
doing
it's the
some.
kind of thing where it's like criticizing something because it's not what you want it to be. Like the
Yeah,
story doesn't really lend itself to doing that much. Like the story is about the people and the conversations, and that's about it. Like it's a very, very bare bones. So I think like, you know, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I'm not sure what exactly people are looking for there.
yeah. I'm like, it's not that kind of movie. But I guess I can understand if you're saying this is boring because they're walking the entire time and you could be doing some stuff with that. Like, well, I don't know. Is this whatever?
Dan, when you say that they were sensationalizing the violence, I agree. It was shocking because, as Kev mentioned, now we are in full spoilers, everybody. When Mr. Jojo Rabbit gets it, I wasn't expecting them to. I wasn't expecting to actually see the bullet and the effects it would have on his face. And when that happened, I was like, I thought like maybe what you wanted, Dan, was like every hear a shot, right? Even maybe see a body fall, but you don't actually get a close up of like the violence actually taking place. And you do get that. Especially the very first shot is very traumatizing because they stick the violence right on the screen, right in front of your face. And that was very shocking to my entire crowd. Um, and I feel like the movie maybe continues to do that in a way, like you were saying with his ankle and everything. I don't know.
And
It is
the stabbing in the neck, like just and like even the one trailer, like it like before it was like it's good, it's gory, it's violent, it's crazy. Like this is like literally that's how the trailer was like set up. So like I don't think that should be a selling point of the movie. I guess is what I'm
it,
trying to say.
it's a tough line to walk, in my opinion,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
there's
Yeah.
like even the Francis Lawrence like trying to. It kind of maybe goes against the 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 bare bones of a filmmaker not to make your movie cinematic in a way and not to this scene would be shocking, this moment would be memorable, and not to film it in that way even if it is violence. I wonder if there was moments in this film or moments in the Hunger Games that he maybe did decide to not show something because of what you're saying, Dan, is because it is glorifying the violence maybe just a little bit too much. uh, I mean, you have to think about the fact that maybe this moment would be more impactful if people could see it straight up, like in close up. I don't
Well,
know.
I was thinking about that. So from the very first kill that we get, it's interesting when the way the film opens up is interesting because I'm thinking that because we just get straight into it. Ray's in the car with his mom, gets out the car, and then we see these boys, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, they're doing a little bit too much talking and walking into a suicide mission. You know, like in my head, I would be like, as some of them, they are scouting out the competition, but like they're talking a lot. So I was a little concerned for how things were going to go as far as dialogue and things being lights and how the story was going to go, even though I know what the movie is, but that's how it was starting off. And then when we get that scene where, Jojo Rabbit goes out, I think how visceral that scene is versus how the movie started is letting you know, like, no, this is where we're at.
Well, because
You
the title
started off
card,
this way where you like these kids and they're talking and they're cracking jokes and you think that you're going to be getting some of that, even though you do get it sprinkled throughout the film where you laugh a little bit. But like it's a complete tone change from the title card afterwards. You're like, shit. Okay. Wow. Hold on. Let me process that for a second. So I think that's another way to look at it, to let you know, like, nah, yeah, you thought it was going this way. And they thought, shit was sweet too. But here's the reality.
speaking of shit, I will say with this movie, rewatchability, I think would be nice with other people who haven't seen the film. Because when I was in this packed crowd, there was a lot of reactions, not only to the violence, but the circumstances that these young men need to go through in order to keep on walking. You think someone is down for the count, but a friend goes back and helps them out and pulls them forward. It's a very tense movie. I would say my favorite moment of it was probably the hill scene, which was wild. It's
Dude,
like I
yes.
think it's their first night, and all of a sudden it's like the one hill they have to face, and just bullets are flying left and right. And I will say something, Dan. I don't think they show any of the violence there. Like you're
Yeah.
hearing just
They
bullets
don't.
get racked off, but they only focus on
I think it was the most horrifying
McReeves and
scene.
Ray. It's traumatizing.
It is
It
the
was
most
so
horrifying scene.
it was horrifying, but it was really effective. I will say they did a great job. I was expecting that, and then boom, there's like 15 people left. I was like, wow.
Especially because Ray at that time, wasn't he kind of dozing off a little bit?
I think he was dreaming
Yeah.
about his mom.
Yeah. And that was the time where he's kind of dozing off. So you're like, yeah, that was really suspenseful. And they're plucking them off one by one. There was a lot of people that lost their lives at that scene. I was going to ask you, how do you think they handled Ray and his wish, right? So for Ray and the wish that he was refusing to reveal.
I think it's an oversimplification. I think in the book, the major didn't kill his father. His father was just his father was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
For I guess being a dissenter, whatever.
Yeah.
But they and again, maybe it's to make it more cinematic. They boil the movie down to this simple revenge story, right? Um, which I think is a little silly, but it's a movie, so um,
Well, I was kind of contemplating. I was going back and forth. I'm like, it's a movie, you got to tell a story, but I was also like, yeah, it's a little lazy too. I mean, it was just telegraphed, you know.
yeah.
I mean,
Personally, I didn't like what McFreeze did at the very end, right? So basically, McFreeze to me was he's like the best character in the movie, as in morally, right? I mean, he does have a traumatizing past where he has done some wrong, but he's trying to be a better person, and you see that throughout this entire journey. And even in his wish, where I believe he was an orphan, he wants to use the money of this wish to help out young men and women who had a similar upbringing to him. So the fact at the end of the movie of him shooting the colonel, a very violent act, to me, that didn't necessarily fit his character. Now, I think I know what they were trying to insinuate there is that maybe the bond between Ray and him has become so strong. Like right before that moment, they call each other brother, like you are my brother. And it's more, and he does have this mission, I will say, of trying to make the world a better place, which is what he wants to do with his winnings and his wish, because there's so much hatred and violence in the world. So you can say that taking out the colonel is fulfilling that goal of making the world a better place. But to me, that violent act didn't necessarily fit his character, and I was surprised that they went that route.
I mean,
I think,
yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, I think, sort of the point, I guess, is that he is putting the mission of his friend who just passed above himself, and I think you can sort of get by it by saying like, um, watching Ray die obviously would have been horrifically traumatic. He just went through something insane. Like, I don't think you can expect him to necessarily be making rational decisions that are within his, like, the framework of his character. But I think the easier way to frame it is that he just said, "This is fucked." He probably maybe doesn't care what happens next at that point. Um, and he's going to do what his friend wanted to do, whether that be simplistic and, foolish or not. And I think, you know, the colonel, or is he the major, excuse me, the major seems to be very, he's a symbol, right? Like, he seems to be symbolic and a figurehead of this entire operation. This is kind of his baby. So I think, like, it necessarily going to change things? No, but um it could be cutting off the head of the snake. I don't know. You don't know what happens next. I assume nothing good, but
Well, it's leaving it ambiguous at the end because he's walking away. And what's interesting about that scene is nothing happens. Like, nobody reacts to it. And he just
yeah.
continues walking. I think so. In the book, obviously they switch people. It happens differently, but he just continues walking in the book. Is that what happens? Like, that doesn't happen. He just continues walking after he wins.
I think I saw somewhere that he sees like a shadowy figure, and then he like follows the figure down the road. Don't know what that
Yeah.
means. Don't know if that's supposed to be Cooper Hoffman's character.
So
don't
it's
know.
all pretty ambiguous for the most part on how things end. But I like the switch though. I'm with Dan on that as far as, like, yeah, it feels out of character for him, but friendship, and he's respecting his wishes on what he wanted to do. I do like that Ray decides to lose because he knows that, like, everything I'm doing, that, like, this, what I'm doing this for is just not, the purpose isn't, it's not going to do anything. This guy has the lights, he has the vision, he's got it,
Yeah, he's just a better person. Like, that's
Yeah.
your best friend. Like, this guy's your brother, and you're realizing that the world would be a better off place. Like, he's essentially, I guess, accepting the goal and the wishes of McFreeze. Like, he realizes the world would be a better place if McFreeze was in it rather than him.
Yeah.
And that's what's best for everybody.
Yeah.
And there maybe is bigger. Essentially, his wish kind of takes on, I guess, what his brother's wish is. And then his brother's wish, McFreeze, takes on the wish of what Ray's wish was. Right? So I'm going to kill the major. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, guys, I don't know if we're winding down here. Like, out of the three of us, who's winning?
Hey, you know what's funny though? I was looking at this movie and I was like, I don't know if Ray would be in the top lead just based off of size and I'm like, Ray looked like he ain't get in shape before this. I ain't gonna lie, but
some ligaments might start breaking down there.
Man, this will be rough, man. This will be rough. And my knees will be going out, man. I mean, those scenes where you're looking at people's feet. I mean, even the scene, oh man, when his mom sees him, that was tough, bro. That there's a couple of, I don't know how y'all felt about this movie, but there were like two scenes in here where I'm like, oh man, that got me for real. And one scene was when, I call him Preacher Boy. What's his name for the movie? The brother that went out, and he's basically ready to go home. Like, I'm done.
His name was Arthur. Yeah.
Arthur, when he goes out, that scene that got me there. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
And then
all I wanted to do was make friends. Man, that was tough.
Yeah. And then obviously, like I said, when his mom sees him and he completely turns around, sprints straight to her, and she's like, no, you got to keep going. Keep walking.
It's crazy because it's completely like her character has changed because he's essentially now going on this walk because she wanted him to stay so badly and not do the walk. And now she has to force him to do it because that's the only way she can now save her child.
To be alive. Yeah, for sure.
I think he takes off his shoes and you see his bloody feet. Sheesh.
My favorite scene in the movie, though, I have two favorite scenes. One is when Kali runs to get that gun from the soldiers and says, screw it, I'm going out. I like that scene a lot because, like, to me, it symbolizes how strong indigenous people were from the beginning. And so to have the Native American character go out like that, I was like, that's some gangsta ass shit. I respect that. Like, you're going to go out regardless Take somebody
It's
out with you.
100% the move in this situation. Yeah.
So, and then my second favorite scene is when Charlie Plummer, who plays Gary, he's like mentally breaking down and realizing like he wants to become a part of the pack and asking Ray to ask Pete, can you let me in the gang or whatever? But you see him, you know, finally open up, but he's already mentally gone at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was really, really good. And I also thought that was a nice, just like kind of like I talked about before, like a moment of like forgiveness, even of someone who didn't deserve to be forgiven. You know, just understanding he was looking for some kind of community before death, or just some kind of comfort. And they didn't have to. They could have told him to, you know, fuck off and die, but they didn't.
and
Which
that's
they
a
would
lot,
have.
a really strong scene.
That's a lot to have to carry, a burden to carry too, because everybody's in the beginning is like, you killed that guy.
Yeah, they would have told them to fuck off
Like you killed him
2 days
like,
ago.
you were
But they
over here
realized so much has
antagonizing
changed.
him. He started swinging on you, and then this happens. Like this is on you, and you could tell he's like fuck you, don't put that on me. But you could tell it mentally messed with him the entire time, and it built
I also
up. And
got the
finally
impression he was maybe like schizophrenic, or like something where he needed to be medicated and just wasn't, and just
Hating
was
himself.
trying to make it through. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was. I think that's my favorite scene in the entire movie. That hit hard.
Yeah.
Dan, how's your ankle doing?
Not good. I'm going out like the guy with gets the rifle, bro. I'm not walking 500 miles. I'm sorry. Ankle is cooked. So.
Well,
Okay.
my bad. Do we have a negative? Well, I guess I know we'd already talked about negatives. I do want to ask y'all about this though. Okay, so David Johnson, I honestly believe he's one of my favorites of the new generation after Ryan Lane and Alien Romulus, and just kind of what I've been seeing. I'm like, he's awesome to me. But I found some of the direction, and I'm gonna put this up that this is director issue, and also him being young issue too. I found it a bit frustrating with his character with the accent that they were making him have, because
100%
He did the
agree.
same shit to Ben Wang, dude. The fuck is that accent?
yeah, I don't know
Like-
what that is, and it's at times he's going from British accent to Southern accent to now all of a sudden I missed a line that he said. Like
Yeah,
there were times
it was frustrating.
There were times I couldn't understand what he was saying. And for me, that was frustrating because I was like, well, shit, I know he said something important, but shit, I don't know. I'm used to having subtitles as well.
Yeah, I was missing him, man. I mean, it seems like something with all the characters, especially with them being from different parts of the country, that they really are trying to do a heavy emphasis on accents.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Nioit, I think is how you pronounce his name, who was playing Arthur, because he's from New Orleans. I thought he did a very good Louisiana accent. So maybe it is David Johnson and the fact that he is, I don't know if he's ever played an American role before, an English role before. I believe he was speaking still in his British accent in Alien Romulus, and then obviously with Ryan Lane. So maybe it's just a learning thing. But it was frustrating me. I could not understand some of the stuff he was saying. Like his monologue, I was like, dude, this is awesome. And I'm like, wait.
What was that there? What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, normally I'd rewind it. I'd rewind it. I wouldn't have a problem if I had my subtitles, but
And Ben Wang's from New York in this, right? He's doing like a really thick New York accent.
But I feel like they also were having him play up just like a kind of stereotypical like Asian accent, and I was like, why are we doing this? That's not how Ben Wang talks.
That's not how he talks
at all. Like he talks
not from the movie I saw previously. They have him, man.
And I guess like it feels like they're almost trying to make every character sort of like a caricature, like, and I don't know why do that. But
I didn't think about that, but that might have been intentional, maybe.
But why?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know if they're trying to represent a region of where they're from or what it is.
Well, I looked it up. I was saying Ben Wang is actually originally from China, but he moved when he was 6 years old. So I don't necessarily think that he would still have a Chinese accent.
No,
dude, I've listened to a lot of his interviews. He doesn't really have an accent at all.
Yeah.
I thought that
there's definitely a heavy New York accent that they're trying to do. Like they
maybe it's that. Maybe it's more so, I guess, than New York. I don't know.
Did
But
his
yeah, I
comedy
do
work for you
agree.
guys? That is pretty funny. Everything that he's doing mostly.
What was the question?
His comedy. How do you think the comedy was in the movie in general? I thought all of it was pretty effective, and it didn't get.
I think it was pretty good. I mean, there's
It wasn't
elements where you feel
inappropriate.
like you're watching kind of Stand By Me, right? As far as just boys having dialogue and talking. Yeah, for the most part, it does. I mean, what's interesting about this movie is, and this sounds funny coming from me, but there's quite a bit of profanity in here, and
Yeah.
and conversations that I don't know how everybody would feel about, anyways. In terms of what they're talking about and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, they're gonna keep this going for a little while. Okay. Well, I'm curious to see how people feel about it. I mean, people love Stand By Me, so I don't know. Maybe people are fine with this dialogue.
I mean, it's just young guys, which I think
Yeah.
that kind of does fit them. Does fit the
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Between me and Kev, though, I was going to say, who's your pick? We know you're cooked, so.
I'm gonna pick Kev.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Jeez. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Kev has children and stuff, man. He's got a lot of motivation.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta get home, brother. Gotta get home.
Dude, you don't know how much I love this dog right here in my lap.
Oh, I did want to
Yeah.
ask y'all this though, and this is funny. Obviously, I really enjoyed this movie, but did y'all ever think, because you have to suspend your disbelief for it, but were you ever like, man, y'all ain't conserving your energy at all. Y'all just keep talking. But obviously, you have to have exposition for this film, and you have to talk. But did you ever think like,
I mean, I think the ideal circumstance, if you're trying to win, is to say nothing to anyone and just walk and focus on yourself. But
they have certain characters that do that.
yeah,
What's his name?
Stebbins.
The one that, yeah, Stebbins. Also, I did look at Stebbins too, and I'm like, y'all hyping him up like he's about to be a real threat athletically. And I'm like, he's more model-esque than athletic, I'd say.
I will say, I was sitting next to my buddy Marcel. I actually got to see this movie a little bit early. I predicted that twist of him being the major's son, because right at the beginning, there is a moment where the major comes up to him and is like, "Good to see you, son." And I'm like, I bet that's his dad. And I was like, wow, turned out to be right. I was pretty
Yes,
proud
right,
of
my
that.
friend. Yes, sir.
I think in the book it's Stebbins and Ray at the end, not McFreeze. That was I thought he gave a good performance too, Garrett Waring.
Yeah. Pretty good cast. They did a good job. All right. Do you guys want to get into my game that I've created?
Sure.
Let's go.
All right. All right. So this is called the Movie Walk. And basically what I have done is I have put iconic movie characters against each other who would win in this competition with all of the rules that are in place. And they also get one wish. And I'm going to tell you what their wish is. So first we have Shrek versus Po from Kung Fu Panda. Now, Shrek is that he gets to see the love of his life, Fiona, again, right? That's what he's running for. That is his wish. Po is trying to get himself a big old bowl of dumplings for the rest of his life. As many dumplings as he can possibly want for the rest of his life.
Can I go first? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a Kung Fu Panda stan, but I think Po wins this with ease. I feel like he has the mentality. He's so positive and like happy. And I feel like Shrek would just be like in pain and angry in like the first mile. And I feel like Po would they're walking together, just the two of them.
Yep, just the two.
Yeah, Shrek's gonna get pissed off by Po and maybe just kind of end it all, I feel like. But I'm taking Po all day.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I pretty much echo the same thing. Poe has got it, man. 100%.
All right. How does Shrek go out?
Voluntarily, like I said.
Yeah,
Doesn't want to hear the yak.
that checks out.
All right. So sorry, Fiona, you don't get to see your husband anymore. All right. Number 2, we've got Neo versus John Wick. Neo gets to see Trinity again. John Wick gets to bring back his dog.
I gotta go John Wick, man. I mean, look at everything that happened because of the dog. I'm going John Wick. I mean, that was a lot of stuff for the dog. Yeah, it was. I'm going John Wick.
That's tough. I think I'll take Neo. His love for Trinity literally got him through the entire everything. I think it was like reality bending. So I would say I'll take Neo. But they'd be walking for a long time.
I will say with Resurrections, after seeing Resurrections and being like, oh, the point of this whole like maybe franchise is Neo's connection with Trinity. Mm-hmm. Ooh, it's tough. I guess I'm the tiebreaker here. I didn't chime in. Damn. Obviously, no gadgets from Mr. John Wick. He doesn't have his bulletproof. Imagine his bulletproof jacket. He's like, gotcha, bitch. Just like attacks all the guys. I'll go with Wick. I mean, Neo is the chosen one, but I don't think he has as much training as Wick does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Number 3. I've got 4 of these. Three. I'm glad I came up with this. I came up with these last 2 this morning. We've got the Penguin, Danny DeVito's Penguin, versus Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. And it's to who can like rule Gotham. And it's like their whole getup. Let me say, Freeze has got a lot of shit going on. So he's got to walk in all of that.
Dude, for Danny DeVito just to walk 3 miles an hour is he's in a run. Like
that's what
I'm sorry, he's cooked. It's Freeze. So.
You said Danny DeVito's, but hell no. Mr. Freeze.
You know, that's Dan's
Freeze
man.
Freeze also is like someone that's driven by love as well. And like he maybe has that aspect of things going on to like get back to.
Well, it's Gotham. That's whoever wins the walk gets to rule Gotham.
Yeah, still in the back of the mind. What's the Penguin? The Penguin he's cooked. Yeah.
All right. So last one. I don't know how you guys are going to take this one, but we have Ethan Hunt or James Bond. Now, there should be specifics here. This is Tom Cruise, and what they're fighting for is Ana de Armas, because Tom Cruise is currently dating Ana de Armas, and then Daniel Craig's James Bond, Ana de Armas was a Bond girl in No Time to Die.
Daniel Craig, you are cooked. You are cooked, Daniel Craig. No, Daniel's cooked, man. Yeah. You got to go Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, I think it's Ethan Hunt.
No. Especially you see the way Tom Cruise be running. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom is just such a psychopath. I feel like he would just like push himself through it. I don't know.
He's like throwing back his popcorn as he's like running down the road. Have you seen that video, Kev? That's like, because he talks all this talk about watching movies, and I'm sure he does, but there was a video of him, I think, during Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, where he was like eating popcorn, and it was the strangest way anybody's ever eaten popcorn.
Never eaten popcorn in his life.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the movie walk. I thought that was a little
cool.
Fun.
That was dope.
Not as much debating as I thought it was going to be. I guess Neo versus Wick was the only one that took a lot of debating. But yeah, Ana de Armas, not to classify her as a prize, but I thought that'd be a fun little
no, it's cool.
Think of the 2 franchises.
That was creative, man. I like that.
Well, Real for Real, thanks for going on this journey with us, this walk today.
Appreciate y'all having me on again,
podcasting.
I was looking at my lighting. I was like, damn, I've been dark this whole time. Shit. I mean, I know I'm dark, but damn, the background. They had more lighting back here. Damn. Especially boys got the LED lights and everything. I was like, oh man, yeah, I messed up. Oh well, as you can tell, I woke up and just hopped on. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man.
Well, it's funny because I did all this to my background, and you don't see this shit like ever in my videos, which is really funny. It's just a cool little room. I guess it's just for the podcast, so you guys, our audience, has an exclusive.
That movie room is nice too, Kev.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah. Got a bunch.
How big's your? I'm sure there's a TV.
I got Dan's favorite there, Pulp Fiction back there. Every time he drops a video on QT, I'm like, oh shit, what'd he do this time? God damn it.
I've got a lot of Dan's favorites back here. Let me see. I've got The Accountant 2. I've got If with John Krasinski. I know Dan's a big fan of that one.
Hate that
We've
movie.
got Gladiator 2. 28 years later. What else? All Dan's favorites. What is it? Oh, Monkey Man. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. Oh, Joker 2.
Wow.
Got like a big spec there.
Is it? Oh, I thought I saw Truman Show back there. Never mind. But is that the other
Nah.
guys? I can't see. Yeah, can't see.
No, shout out to my buddy Brock, our buddy
Is that the
Brock.
Naked Gun?
Yeah, that's the Naked
It
Gun.
looked like the naked guy. I was like, oh snap. Okay.
Yeah.
That one didn't work for Dan.
Mission
Nah.
Impossible. But Kev, we didn't let you plug yourself at the beginning. Go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you.
It's the Real for Real, REEL for REAL podcast. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Apple, Spotify. Check us out. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
we appreciate you being here.
Plug in a TikTok page or something. Y'all got it.
I'll say we appreciate you being here and appreciate everyone if they would come check us out next weekend, which we're really excited for. I mean, I'm pumped for him. We're going to talk about him. If you guys like sports, I'm sure I'll come up with some fun game that I can. Who is actually him? Is it, Jalen Hurts or is it Joe Burrow? Something like that.
R.I.P. Joe Burrow.
Wait, what happened to him?
He got a toe injury
Again?
yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like a ligament, some kind of ligament thing. You might need surgery. It's crazy.
Dude.
Unfortunate.
Well,
yeah.
That's a sad note to go off of. Well, I guess that, feels like a proper ending to talking about the long walk. So thanks everybody for checking us out. Please check out Kev, the Real for Real, on all of his socials that he just mentioned. Check us out next week when we do talk about him. Super excited for that. I'll be in Fantastic Fest, remote coverage. I could tell you about my experiences, but I'll be, I might have met Ethan Hawke by this time. So we might be buddies. I might have him on the pod. So come back next week to see Ethan. But until then, go outside, sit on a park bench, touch some grass, call up your friends, watch a good movie. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody.